Hi, I'm doing this video from the lobby of my office building, which means when somebody walks by, I'm going to have to pause the video and start over. So there may be a couple cuts. We'll see how it goes. It is election day. If you haven't voted yet, go out and vote. I've already done it. Make sure that you do as well. Now that I've talked about the fact that you need to go out and vote, what shall I talk about on Tuesday, November 8th? Related to elections, I just found out that November 14th is the earliest date for filing for our city's March election. So I will be going down to the city clerk's office on November 14th and pulling my papers for school board, my second term on the school board. Other than that, tonight I've got a school board meeting and should be getting all the signatures I need to set up a committee. We're going to set up a re-election committee. We're hoping that nobody else runs. There's 3 of us for 3 openings, and our hope and expectation is that it's just the 3 of us and we don't have to run a competitive election. But you never know. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the papers for the California Fair Political Practices Commission, setting up a committee, which will be the committee to re-elect the 3 of us. And by setting that committee up, it will be sending the message to anybody that thinks about pulling papers that they will be running against the 3 of us as a voting block. That it's not just 3 people running for election and maybe, there's 4 people for 3 spots and maybe you can sneak your way in. It will be that there are 3 of us running as a block, and you're going to have to find a way that breaks through that. We're pretty lucky in this past term, our last 4 years, which are our first 4 years. There haven't been any big controversies. The teachers have been pretty happy with us. Budgets have actually been slowly going up. That could change depending on today's election. But I am hopeful that Prop 55 does pass. That's the one that would affect the school budgets. But otherwise, we've done a lot in our schools. We passed a bond that allowed us to put solar panels up at the schools, and that offsets over $500,000 a year of payments for electricity. It cost us about $7.5 million, I think was the final cost, and that includes a maintenance contract that lasts for 20 years. I think that's what it was. So it should easily pay for itself and then continue to reap benefits. The other thing is we were able to use bond money to pay for the solar panels, but the money that we're not paying for electricity can go to salaries. See, bond money goes for facilities. So you can build buildings, put up solar panels, buy computers, things like that with bond money. You cannot use bond money to pay salaries. And 85% of the school budget goes to things that eat. People, be teachers, maintenance people, secretaries, and yes, administration. Administration is a pretty small percentage of the amount of budget total when you look at the total school budget. But so we've made good progress there. Test scores are up. Satisfaction is up. And the other thing is, I am on it's odd, kind of confusing. It was confusing to me when I first started. As a member of our school board, I am also on the member of another school board. Our school district is one of 6 districts that cooperate in what's called a Joint Powers Authority for a career tech education school. It's its own district. It has a superintendent, it has teachers, it has staff, it has maintenance, it has its own facilities, its own location. And so each of our districts has the pleasure, opportunity, whatever you want to call it, of serving on the school board for this other school. And I've been that representative for 4 years. The issue is, about 4 years ago, funding for that school went to 0. The California new way of funding schools is called Local Control Funding Formula, or LCFF. And LCFF says you can spend the money locally. You'll have just as much money as you had before, but your district can spend the money any way you want. Well, the issue is that district, that career tech ed school, was left out of the budget. There was zero. The money that used to go there just went away. And the answer we were given was, well, your schools have money. They've got money that could be used for career tech ed. Figure it out, fund it how you want. Well, I've been instrumental in helping it get funded. I led the committee, which was a bunch of business officers, school board members, superintendents, and maybe that was it. Maybe it was just school board, superintendent, and business officers. So we had representation from all 6 of the school districts, and we came up with a funding formula that would work and keep it alive. It's not great, it's a little low. We've got a grant money coming in, so the school's got a good 3 years, but in a kind of an election, I would be able to claim that I was instrumental in helping to save and retain that school. So, you know, cost me money if somebody wants to run, but we'll have to deal with it. I think I've rambled on long enough for this video, so until tomorrow, see you. Bye.